Today I'm going to go over a story that happened in Germany about a werewolf, and this is one fascinating story. But before I get into that, I just want to say Merry Christmas, and I hope everyone is enjoying the holidays. It is indeed my favorite time of the year. For some reason I'm one of those weird people that just loves the winter. And it could be because I've never lived in a place where it gets really cold. If it wasn't for movies and TV shows, I wouldn't even know what snow looks like. But I hope everyone is doing fantastic and looking forward to the new year. In the early 1800s, the French, under Napoleon Bonaparte, invaded Russia, and it was a huge military failure. Napoleon was an amazing military strategist, but the cold and vastness and bravery of the Russian soldiers just got the best of him and his army. And many soldiers on both sides deserted, and it wasn't that uncommon at the time for Russians and French deserters to team up and just try to survive. These people had been through hell. One of these men, Thomas, who was fighting for Napoleon before he deserted, teamed up with a group of Russian deserters, and this group did whatever needed to be done to survive. They were like hunters and gatherers, just living the best they could off the land, and hoping that one day all this would be over and they would return to how life was before the war. Along their journey, they stumbled upon a little village in Germany that was known in the area to have a history of witchcraft, and these starving men decided to steal from a farm, but they got caught red-handed by the farmer, so they killed him. Then they killed his sons who heard the commotion and came running to help. Then they killed his wife. These were bad men. But before the wife died, she stared at Thomas and put a curse on him. She said, "From now on at each full moon, you will turn into a rabid wolf so the world will see the monster that you have become." And the legend states that this curse worked, as every full moon Thomas would transform into a wicked beast and go on murder sprees. Until one day, many full moons later, he was killed by a mob of men seeking revenge. Before he died, the villagers claimed to see a large bipedal animal that looked like a mix between a wolf and a human. These villagers, they were terrified, they were scared to death. They locked their doors and never went out during the night, especially when it was a full moon. At first it started with livestock being killed, then humans. It was even reported that Thomas, when he was a werewolf, had his way with a farmer's daughter, and after that the people, they finally had enough. And by this time they suspected that Thomas was to blame. So during the day a mob tracked him down and they killed him. And after his death they built a shrine and lit a candle over it. A legend states that as long as a candle burns on this shrine, Thomas will never come back. Also, the farmer's daughter got pregnant and had Thomas's child. But thankfully he never turned into a werewolf, or so they say. But this child also had kids and they had kids, so this bloodline is out there. And that got me thinking about my last werewolf video. A couple of months ago I made a video about werewolf sightings in a city in Brazil. And before these sightings happened that created a mass hysteria, the locals said that a mysterious person did arrive before the sightings began. And due to the fact that there were so many sightings of this creature, this city has come to be known as the werewolf capital of Brazil. So maybe there is truth in legends like this. The Navajo also believed in skinwalkers. And they believed in skinwalkers so much that at one time they even had a task force blessed by the elders to go out and kill these creatures, or at least the witches that created them. Now, even after Thomas was killed, there were still sightings being reported by the Germans within this area. And one of the main reasons I wanted to cover this story is because in the 1980s, members of the US military that was stationed in this village in Germany also claimed that they too saw what they believed to be a werewolf. Soldiers started to report seeing a large dog-like creature walking on two legs around the perimeter. So, terrified, they would release the dogs in hopes of killing or scaring this creature away. But every time the dogs would come back like they were scared to death. One account happened in 1988 when an Air Force security guard heard the alarm going off, meaning someone or something was trespassing on the military base, so he went to go investigate. And he claims that he saw a creature walking on two legs, and that this thing must have been at least 8 feet tall. He had never seen anything like this before. He was shocked. And while he was just frozen in fear, watching in terror, he saw it jump over a 12-foot perimeter fence. And yet again the guard dog came back with its tail between its legs. And this unlucky man wasn't the only one that saw this creature that night. He stated, "I was stationed at an airbase in Germany from May 1986 to August 1989 as a security policeman. And it was my group that witnessed the Marbach monster. The creature that we saw was definitely an animal. It was dog or wolf-like. It was about 7 to 8 feet tall, and it jumped a 12-foot security fence after taking 3 long strides." Now, because there were so many sightings, they bring in an investigator, And this investigator also learned that the Germans who lived in this area were also reporting seeing the exact same creature. And after doing a little digging, the investigator found out about the legend of Thomas. And this legend shocked him, as here we have a story that's hundreds of years old that's describing a creature that people are still seeing today. And a lot of these eyewitnesses were military personnel. Now when this detective learned about the shrine, he had to go check it out. And he saw that no one had been lighting the candle. And ever since he relit the candle, there have been no more reported sightings of the Marbach monster. Until next time, this is Paranormal Junkie. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned.